Hey guys, welcome to Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments. This episode is actually going to be a summary episode with just myself, unfortunately. So you guys are going to have to listen to me for anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll hopefully not make you suffer too much. But what I'm going to try and do is go over a lot of the stuff that we're seeing out there. I spend a lot of my time out on the road, whether that be, next week I'm in the Osa. Last week I was in Guanacaste. The week before that I was in Dominical, Vito, Hochal. I just purchased real estate myself. Actually, on Friday we closed. So I'm seeing a lot of stuff that's happening in the market here, as well as, basically having these podcasts, getting information from all over the country, from different people, basically in the industry, from architects, lawyers, realtors, everything. So I thought I'd go through and kind of just give everyone a summary of the first 20 episodes, plus what's going on here in the real estate market, the digital nomad, talking rentals, long terms, also land investment as well, which I think could be a good long-term play here, as well as building in Costa Rica as well. So that's really the idea of what the summary is. So let's just get straight into it and get started. I think everybody can see that real estate here is really, really busy at the moment. I'm not too sure how hot it is because again, the data is there's not data out there on like a multiple listing service. One of the downsides of Costa Rica is that we don't have that. But one realtor told me, who operates in the Coco area, that if they took their sales basically over the last 12 months, they were shut down for 6 of those months and divided how much that they'd sold in those 12 months by each month. It really looks the same as it did before, and I really think that time will tell whether this really is, a hot market or there's just this kind of pent up demand behind this kind of dam that's broken through. And then we'll go back to a level of normality. We'll find out. Personally, I think it's going to continue at this rate. The reason being is there's an excess of cash in the market. Gold has never been so expensive. Bitcoin has never been so expensive. The market has never been at an all-time high. Real estate in the US, is insane. I was traveling with an investor the other day that said that his house in Denver, Colorado, had quadrupled basically over the last 5 years. So that's insane. But it's a good wealth preservation play here in Costa Rica. So I think we're going to continue to see that. I think that there's a lot of opportunity in the $200,000 to $400,000 zone in this country. Around the Flamingo Arenal area, very, very difficult to do. It's very difficult to get something in that area, the $200,000 to $400,000 mark. It appears all the realtors are telling me that that's kind of the magic number. I met with a land developer the other day, a big development group here in Costa Rica. They were looking to do something up in the Grande area, Playa Grande in Guanacaste. And they asked me where I saw the opportunity. I said, basically around the $300,000 mark, focusing maybe more on a digital nomad, mid to long-term rentals. And we'll get to that a little bit later on. Some of the, talking about the $200,000 to $400,000 mark, areas where you can kind of get that stuff, Playas del Coco, Playa Hermosa, I think there's an excess of inventory at that amount, and also in the Jaco area as well. It depends whether you want to kind of live in these areas. Again, my advice to always people is go to these areas, live there, rent until you figure out to buy. Again, a lot of the time people don't listen to me, but that's fine. It's whatever makes you happy. Talking about the hottest beach areas, Santa Teresa and Malpais area is on fire. We just did a podcast a while ago, which will be come out after this, where a lot of stuff in Santa Teresa is actually being sold sight unseen, which is crazy. The area of Nosara as well. Nosara has always been a very popular area. This is in the kind of the central Guanacaste area. It's very hot with surfers, people looking for more of a relaxed yoga, farmers market, surfing lifestyle. Pricing in that area is very expensive, and we're starting to see it kind of move more to the north of Marbella and south of Garza there in the Nosara area. Also, Flamingo is very hot at the moment as well due to the marina. That appears it's going to be finished next year as well. So there's a lot of speculation around that Flamingo area, the Potrero, Brazalito, Conchao area. And of course, Tamarindo, a lot of multi-million-dollar homes actually being bought and also being built there. And we'll get into building a little bit later on kind of in this. So as you guys can see there, the real estate market, there is opportunity out there. For anyone that's looking for something in particular, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time here, kind of exploring the beach towns, et cetera, et cetera. So there are consulting services out there that can actually help you. If anybody wants a referral on that, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, all my contact details will be in the blog. If not, you can just email me, Richard at CostaRicaReit.com, CostaRicaReit.com. So let's jump onto digital nomads, because really, there's been a huge spike in demand for, when's this digital nomad visa coming out? What's going on? It's still stuck in basically the Assemblea, kind of, I suppose, Congress here. It's still being discussed. Some of the blockers here are really kind of the tax authorities because they're not really too sure how to handle it from a tax purposes. But I think that there's a lot of opportunity here, especially in the real estate investment side for mid to long-term rentals. There's not a lot of that down here. I saw somebody post the other day to Rebecca Clower of Blue Water Properties that said, hey, Rebecca, have you got any long-term rentals for the rest of the year? And she said, no, everything's full. A lot of people are going for more the short-term rental because it does give income. It can give, better income, but it's not, consistent. October, September, October here are usually very quiet months. They're not going to get tons of rentals there. Whereas if you had a long-term rental, you'd get that consistency throughout the year. When I say midterm or long-term, midterm, I'm talking basically anywhere from a month to kind of 6 months, long-term 6 months onwards, But just remember, on the digital nomad guys, you don't need that to come and work remotely here. You can come here for 90 days on a tourist visa. You can rent somewhere. You can do your job from abroad. You can do it down here. You can homeschool your kids. You can even put your kids in school here if you wanted to. Just every 90 days, you're going to have to leave the country, go to Mexico, Panama, Colombia, back to the States, wherever you want to go. So it's still possible, while waiting for the digital nomad visa. Just be aware that kind of the long-term rentals, the mid to long-term rentals, are pretty expensive at the moment. We could be talking anywhere from $1,500, for a 2-bedroom condo in the Tamarindo area, for a house up to, $5,000, plus utilities, so there's a wide range there. It does exist. You're just going to have to do some basically hunting around to find that stuff, or come down and actually try and find that stuff. So just to summarize, digital nomad visa, still up in the air, not too sure where it's going to come out. It's one of the things about Costa Rica, unfortunately. Things take a long time here. But remember, you can visit us for 90 days, leave, and then come back for 90 days. So let's talk about rental properties here, because I was getting into it a bit of long-term stuff there. I'm talking more about someone that's coming down, making an investment in a property, maybe using it a couple of weeks a year, and then going to rent it out maybe for the rest of the year. A few things to bear in mind. If you can, do not stay in it over Christmas, New Year's, Easter, and try and stay out of it February, March. I know that might be a little tough because there are a lot of snowbirds out there that do want to, use it during the winter period. Thing is, the majority of the income is going to be made during those months. And you can probably basically price it at double, maybe even triple some of the times of the year over Christmas, New Year's. It's a good time of year to basically get a good return on opportunity. Now, talking typical returns on properties, managing expectations, talking to people. Some people are like, at best, you can, cover your costs. I think it really depends on what your HOA fees are. There are HOA fees at $1,000, $1,200 a month. There are HOA fees at $150, $300 a month, which is going to really kind of, those are going to really eat into your returns. I would say typically you're looking for about a 3 to 5%, on a normal property. There are properties that make 10% plus, and there are ways that you can make 10%. But typically the 10% stuff is going to be very unique stuff. Normally it's beachfront, it's extra special, it's large, over 4 rooms. It's got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rooms. There's a huge lack of demand in the market from 4 rooms and above. Typically, when looking at the data in certain areas, all over the country, I look at the data in all the areas. Usually about 60 to 70% is either a 1, 2, 3 bedroom, with the majority of it being around the 2 bedroom, just because, again, just 2 bedrooms, just easy to build. There's not that much 4 bedroom. Usually you're at about a 10% there at the 4 bedroom, and then it starts to drop as you go further on down the market. So there's a lot of opportunity there for someone to actually go and build something or buy something and then actually kind of renovate it and rent it as well. So just jumping back, one of the things that you have to understand when you have a rental property down here is you're going to have a property management company probably. So they're going to be basically doing, all the check-ins, check-outs, cutting the grass, maintaining the property. Plus also they're going to be managing the calendar, doing all the marketing and everything for you. Typically rental fees here, the fees that they will charge on rentals coming through will be anything from 20 to 40%, depending on the provider. Some people are like 20% a lot. Having been in the industry, for over 16 years here, there can sometimes be a difference between a 20% property management company and a 30% or a 40%, because the 30, 40% guys are really going to market, or they have relationships with, say, exclusive resorts or luxury retreats, these kind of things, which really opens doors and allows dollars through the door. So my advice is, don't think about the percent, think about the dollars, and ask when you're looking for a property management company to look at other like-minded properties at how much that they make to really manage your expectations. So again, as I said, typically 3 to 6% is going to be your normal ROI on a property. If you have something unique, 10%. You could get 10% on your own property. Doesn't matter what it is, if you manage the calendar and do all the marketing and all the sales. But again, you're asking for another job here, guys. So just bear that in mind, okay? So that's just it on the rental property front. Talking land investment. I think there's a huge opportunity here that people are missing, which is just the ability to buy land here and lightly develop it. When I mean lightly develop, get it electricity, get it water, maybe put some roads. You could even subdivide it. It's not that complicated if you know what it is that you're doing. If I'm a basically kind of armchair investor, this is probably not something I'm going to do. I would just buy the land and maybe sit on it. But I do think that there is huge opportunity in lightly developing it, because you could segregate it, you could sell those lots, especially in developing areas, or even, as we were talking about with a couple of realtors, buying commercial lots in very, busy areas, like Tamarindo, like Flamingo, like Coco, Hermosa, Jaco, Nosara, Santa Teresa, Malpais, all these areas, Dominical, Uvita, even in the city here, of buying basically some commercial land and just sitting on it and not doing anything with it. It can have big returns if you really know what it is you're doing, or invest in a land bank fund. Anyone that wants details on this kind of stuff, just let me know. Where you're taking basically plays throughout the country there. Instead of buying one piece of land, you invest into basically a land bank fund, and that fund invests in multiple different properties throughout Costa Rica with a bit of a long-term play there. But again, I like the idea of a land investment because it's kind of a hedge against inflation, as investing in gold is, etc. And I think that the market's going to be looking for that hedge against inflation really going forwards, just because again, it's, inflation in the States is only going to increase. So people are going to be looking for those types of investments. So that's land investment. Again, not too much detail. I won't go into too much detail. If anybody does want to talk about it, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to basically, have a good chin wag, as my father would say, about that. So let's think about this. You want to build something, you want to have something in Costa Rica, you can't find what it is that you're looking for. Another option might be to actually buy the land and also build. For instance, I saw a piece of land the other day. I was with an investor down from Denver, Colorado. He was looking at a piece of land in Playa Grande. It was actually owner financed. It was 300 meters from the beach. It was about $130,000. So he could actually put 25% down, then pay the rest. I think it was at 6% over 5 years. And then actually use that cash to then actually build a property on it, which I thought was a great idea, because once the building is built, you could then use the rental income then to actually pay for the property itself. So that was a good, idea, especially for those people that are in that $300,000-$400,000 mark. This could be a good option for you. Also, one of the good things that I'm seeing here as well, I've seen a lot of great prefab homes being built, these light designs that I know that Christy and Arce have talked about, which are kind of steel structures, and then they're putting Durarock kind of cement walls on it. Actually, this is what I built this office in. It actually took me about 4 weeks to put this ensuite office together, which was pretty incredible. And as you can see, it's not too bad. Keeps the rain off my head and keeps me warm. So I say warm, it's Costa Rica. It keeps me cool. I have an air conditioning unit up here. So, but anyway, there are some great prefab stuff. You've got Ubali down here, Ubali is one. You've got Livi as well, Livi. I'm actually going to their factory in Catargo tomorrow because I have a friend of mine, also an investor, who's looking to basically do tiny homes that you can kind of wheel all over the country. So you can kind of hook these back up on the 4x4 and take a trip all over. And you can place these there, connect to the electricity. So it's kind of, I suppose, like an RV, but we're just kind of more of a tiny home. But anyway, that could be a great option. I think one of the things that you have to bear in mind when building here, guys, is, it can be a bit of a longer process. It can take anywhere from 12 to 18 months from start to finish. You're gonna need to find a great architect. You're gonna have to find a good engineer and project manager. Maybe your architect can be the project manager, but I think the project manager is key, because I'm sure that you guys are not gonna wanna be coming down and inspecting it, every week, every 2 weeks, etc. It's a lot of moving parts. And, unfortunately, the guys that are building these houses, are not always have the standard that we have, in the Western world. So, I mean, to give you an idea, just over here underneath that, there was a plug socket there, and the guy was going to leave it there. There was a plug socket from before, because there used to be a rancho. He was going to leave it there. And I said, well, why would you put a plug socket at like chest height on a wall? And he was like, well, I thought you might need it. I'm like, for what? What am I going to plug in at chest height? So these are just small things that, that just aren't thought of, because they don't understand, the Western way of thinking. That's why it's great to get a great architect and also project manager and kind of engineer. We spoke to quite a few on this. We had Richard Hammond from the Inverse Project. We have Roberto Meza here from Sfera. So there are a couple out there. And again, if you guys need any recommendations, feel free to reach out to me. I can help you. I do think that building could be a great way to actually save some money, and also potentially, to, get what it is that you're looking for. And I think you really need to understand that. I was talking with a guy this morning who was looking to basically build something down here. And I said, you've really got to get to the idea of what it is that you're trying to build. Are you trying to build something for you that you can potentially rent, or are you just trying to build something that you can rent? Because they're two completely different things. Because if you're trying to build something for you, the design is going to be for you. Whereas you're going to build something that's going to rent, you've really got to look at the design that's in there, that's renting at the moment, that's kind of hip and with the fashion, which at the moment appears to be this contemporary beach design. So I'm also seeing people going in and buying more Spanish colonial stuff, kind of gutting it, and actually going with more of a contemporary kind of beach design. So anyway, there we go. I'll try not to keep this going too long, guys. I just want to give a summary of the 20 episodes and also what I've seen over the past couple of months here in Costa Rica. Again, for anybody that wants any information or anything further, feel free to get into contact with me via the podcast. You can comment away. We also have a Facebook group, which is called Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments. You guys are more than welcome to join that. Just go into Facebook, type Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments, post in the comments here if you want to. Contact details will be there. My email address, again, is richard@costaricareit.com. I'm happy to help anyone in any way that I can. So I hope this has been useful, guys, and I look forward to seeing you on future episodes. Thanks very much.